Hi, it's Jo Painter here of confidencecoachingforwomen.co.uk, and it's day 3 already of our 5-day intensive Reboot Your Career. Get real recognition at work in just 5 days. So welcome if you've only just joined us, and if you haven't yet joined us, then there's a link underneath this video. You can come into the 5-day intensive. It's not too late, and you can always catch up on the videos and posts in the group already. So yesterday we talked about how to use powerful communication, what things to stop doing when you don't want to soften your language. And before that, we spoke about speaking up in meetings. And I've had another couple of questions on that. So I just want to touch on that first. So the first question I was asked is, what if you are asked to do the tea or the coffee runs quite regularly? Or what if you're asked to do the organise the Christmas party, which I mentioned in a previous video? Well, really, it depends on who's asking you. If it's a colleague suggesting you get the tea for a meeting, then I would just say something as simple as, okay, happy to do it this time, but next time it's yours, so that you're equaling out the power. If it's from your boss, though, it's a bit more difficult to refuse or to suggest you go somewhere else and to look to somebody else to do it. I would probably say okay at the time, and then after the meeting I would just have a word and saying, I'm happy to make tea, but I prefer it if you shared it around the team, because it doesn't do well for my sort of reputation and for people to respect me. And coming to the Christmas party issue, well, if you're asked to organise that and it's a colleague, again, I would suggest, I'm happy to be involved, but I don't want to do all the organisation. And if it's your boss asking, I think you could raise something about the priorities or what you're working on currently. So something just as simple as, I realise it's important that somebody organises the Christmas party. At the moment, I've got a lot on my plate, a lot of priorities, as you know, and I wouldn't like to let those slip. So I think it's probably better if you ask somebody else in the team. So I hope those helped. And on to today's subject, which is all about body language and using body language to be really confident. If you've had a chance to watch the video by Amy Cuddy, she talks there a lot about how body language gives messages to people and to ourselves just as much as our words do. And she talks about how different body languages will give different messages to you and to other people, and how it affects the sort of brain chemistry and the two hormones of testosterone and cortisol, which are around dominance and stress. And she talked about the research, which suggests that if you hold a powerful body language for 2 minutes, it drops your cortisol stress levels and raises your power and your confidence and your testosterone. So it definitely does work. So how do you feel about changing your body language? Because you don't want to become a different version of yourself. You still want to feel authentic. So what I'm suggesting is, you may not want to stand in poses taking up lots of space all of the time. It might not feel like you. But when you're in a situation, maybe a meeting or you've got to do a presentation, where you're feeling nervous or uncomfortable, that's the time to just check, what's my body language doing? Because when we feel uncomfortable, or we're worried that we'll get it wrong, or worried that people give us feedback and criticise, we tend to withdraw a bit. We tend to take up less space because we're worried about what people might think or what they might say or how they'll judge us. So we close in on ourselves and take up less space. So it's in those circumstances that I suggest you just be aware of what your body language is doing. And if necessary, open it up a bit. Take up some more space. Raise your chin, shoulders back. Look like you're confident to the other people, and it will give that message back to you. And I promise you it works. I've used the Wonder Woman pose myself before presentations and felt okay. And another aspect I just wanted to talk about today around body language and being confident going into a meeting or a networking session or doing a presentation. And this is one that I like to use, which is about visualizing yourself as somebody else. Now that might sound a bit strange, but I have a couple of friends who are hugely energetic and have real charisma and presence, and they can turn that on when they go into a meeting or they go into a party, a social situation. It just sort of comes from them. And I look at them and I think that aspect of them I can use. I'll still be myself, but I can raise my energy and raise my sort of confidence going into a session. That will really make a difference. So when I go to do a presentation or a party even, or if I go to a networking group, then just before I go through the door, I just imagine these people and I think, okay, what would they be like? And that gives me a real boost of energy. So is there somebody that you know that might actually give you a good role model for that particular aspect? Not for everything, but that particular energy and motivation aspect. Can you imagine what they would do as they went into a meeting or into a room? Perhaps as a colleague at work that's particularly confident, that you could imagine your energy and power coming from them. So that's the training for today. I hope you found that useful. Do comment with any questions you've got. And if this is the first day you've seen this intensive, then please join us. The link is below. We'd love to hear from you and to hear about your particular questions around confidence in your career. And if you'd like to discuss this a bit more, you can always contact me. You can book a free consultation with me at www.speakwithjo.com. That's www.speakwithjo.com. I'd love to find out what your particular challenges are and share some great tips and strategies. So that's it for me today. Look out for your email if you're part of the group tomorrow. It will come in at 9 o'clock, a new topic, and it's on assertiveness. So really worthwhile looking out for. And I'll be live back here again at 12 o'clock. Thanks for listening.